How much time will it take for us to reach Mars? The new objective of this space race is to reach Mars and establish a settlement there. But let's be honest, it's not a simple task to send people to Mars. The dark side of the moon, which is only 400,000 kilometers distant, is the extent of human space travel. Mars travel is significantly more difficult than that. It's a journey that could take weeks, months, or even years, and one that calls for humanity to overcome many technological obstacles. But with our existing technology, how long would it take us to reach Mars? And can we shorten that period of time with current technology? Unquestionably, yes. How? There is a reason, though, that we haven't fully studied Mars and that so few landers have ventured there. A trip to Mars would be extremely difficult due to the numerous issues that exist in the far reaches of space. The idea of traveling to Mars has long been the stuff of science fiction, but it is now rapidly approaching reality. Before a crewed expedition to Mars can be launched, there are numerous obstacles that must be solved, but the two primary players, NASA and SpaceX, are up to the effort. Although they have been closely collaborating on missions to the International Space Station, they have divergent visions for what a crewed Mars trip should entail. While SpaceX is more creative and risk-taking, NASA is more concerned with safety and care. However, in order to make Journey to Mars a success, both groups understand that collaboration is necessary. NASA and SpaceX may be able to overcome any obstacles in the way of the journey to Mars by combining their resources and skills. Knowing the distance between the two planets is necessary before we can calculate how long it will take to reach Mars. The second nearest planet to Earth is Mars, which is the fourth planet from the Sun. Venus is the closest. But as they circle the Sun, the distance between Earth and Mars is continually shifting. Theoretically, when Mars is at its closest point to the Sun, perihelion, and Earth is at its farthest, they would be closest to one another, aphelion. The planets would be only 33.9 million miles, or 54.6 million kilometers, apart as a result. This, however, has never occurred in the course of history. The two planets made their closest known encounter in 2003, when they were just 34.8 million miles, 56 million kilometers, away. Therefore, the distance required to travel to Mars would probably be 33 to 34 million miles. If you moved at the speed of light, how long would it take you to go to Mars? At Earth's closest approach, Mars would be reached in 3.03 minutes. At its furthest distance, it would take 22.4 minutes. Traveling at the speed of light in a vacuum would take 12.5 minutes to reach Mars, given the average distance between Earth and Mars of 65.4 million kilometers. These figures are predicated on the notion that you are leaving Earth and moving straight toward Mars. The journey would actually take significantly longer because you would have to take into account the Earth's rotation, curvature, and Mars' orbit around the Sun. It would still be possible to go to Mars in an hour if you were moving at the speed of light, even with these considerations. However, based on our current technologies, it is not realistic for humanity to attempt to travel at the speed of light. How about the quickest spacecraft that mankind has ever created? With a top speed of over 36,000 miles per hour, NASA's New Horizons spacecraft is one of the swiftest objects ever to leave the solar system, 58,000 kilometers per hour. At its average distance from Earth, Mars would be reached in about 162 days, 3,888 hours, if such a spacecraft could get you there. Mars, on the other hand, would be 289 days, 6,944 hours, away from us at its furthest point. In contrast, conditions are even better when Mars is closest to Earth, as you would then be able to travel there in just 39 days, 942 hours. However, NASA's Parker Solar, which was breaking its own speed records as it approached the Sun last year in 2021, even broke this mark. During its 10th close flyby of our star on November 21, 2021, the Parker Solar Probe reached a top speed of 101 miles, 163 kilometers per second, or 364,621 miles per hour, 586,000 kilometers per hour. The Parker Solar Probe will be traveling faster than 430,000 miles per hour when it approaches the solar surface in December 2024, claims a NASA statement, opens a new tab. With Parker Solar Probe speed, we might reach Mars in 93 hours at its closest approach to Earth and in 29 days at its furthest distance. That has major implications for humanity. The issue with the earlier calculations we discussed is that they determine the separation between the two planets using a straight line. While spaceships must go in orbit around the solar system's star, passing straight past the Sun would be necessary to travel the farthest distance between Earth and Mars. When the planets are on the same side of the Sun, another issue occurs, even though this is not a concern at closest approach. The estimates also presume that Mars and Earth will remain at the same distance for the entirety of the probe's 39-day voyage, even if a probe is launched from Earth while the two planets are at their closest approach. The propulsion mechanism employed and how the planets are aligned in their orbits all affect how long it takes to reach Mars. NASA Goddard Space Flight Center estimates that the best launch configuration would take you to Mars in 9 months. However, it is typically closer to 2 years due to the planet's positions and other variables. The best orbits for launching a spacecraft from Earth to Mars must be calculated by engineers. Their calculations take into account both distance and fuel economy. They must predict where the planet will be when the spacecraft arrives rather than where it is when it departs Earth, much like tossing a dart at a moving target. In order to enter orbit around a new planet without overshooting it, spacecraft must also slow down. The length of time it takes to get to Mars relies on the technical advancements made in propulsion systems as well as where the two planets are in their orbits at the time a mission is launched. In the 9 months it takes to get there, Mars travels nearly 3/8 of the distance around the Sun in its orbit. To make sure Mars is where you need it to be by the time you get to the distance of Mars' orbit, you must plan ahead. This suggests that you can't start your journey until Earth and Mars are precisely aligned in real life. Once every 26 months, this occurs. That means there is only one launch window every 26 months. The Hohmann transfer technique, which requires around 9 months to complete and has launch windows every 26 months, is the quickest and most effective method we are aware of for reaching Mars. It would take around 21 months to do the round trip. Based on our current technology, just getting to the red planet would cost thousands of dollars every second and require us to sacrifice a significant portion of payload, not to mention the psychological effects such a lengthy journey would have. Therefore, a trip to Mars would take much less time than it does now if we can travel at speeds comparable to those of the Parker Solar Probe. But what steps is humanity currently doing to try to reach Mars? The Starship is being developed by Elon Musk, the CEO of SpaceX and one of the first people to travel to Mars. The Raptor engines, which are being developed by SpaceX and are known for providing a massive amount of thrust, are now under development. They intend to replace it with the Raptor 2.0, a major improvement above previous Raptor engines. However, SpaceX stands out due to its fast reusability, something no other company has yet accomplished. The currently under development Raptor 2 engine is a crucial part of SpaceX's future. It has enormous power that has been developed using science and reusability in ways that have never been seen before. Space engineers have long dreamed of, but never been able to build, the Raptor engine. Enormous spacecraft like the Starship will be able to skip our atmosphere and head straight for Mars, saving money and energy in the process. For the time being, humankind's plans to visit Mars are on track. How do you feel? Will we ever be able to establish a settlement on Mars? Share the video with your friends and let us know what you think in the comments section down below.